Hello and welcome to Indie Iron. My name's Evan Plager, and on this month's episode, we'll talk about YouTube as a video publishing platform and business incubator. I also discuss the nature of Bay Area business, new media, and how internet and video game producers have affected the entertainment media landscape with my guest, John Gillies, sitting chair of the Northwest chapter of the Producers Guild of America. But first, thank you to all of the entrepreneurs who came out last month to support the launch of Ben Yenny's book. Launching a film market strategy guide with karaoke and booze, only in San Francisco. Congratulations again, Guerrilla Rep. Thank you also to those who joined us at the Producer Foundry Town Hall meeting, where I met this month's guest after his presentation on the Producers Guild. It is organizations and like-minded people like these that make the Bay Area filmmaking community so inviting and interesting. For many communities, in-person meetups and group gatherings of like-minded individuals are quickly becoming a thing of the past. When I met with John Gillies for our interview, one of my first questions was about the in-person versus online dynamic. Thank you, John, so much for sitting down with me. I'm here with John Gillies, the sitting chair for the Northwest chapter of the Producers Guild of America. What do you feel like is the benefit of meeting in person as opposed to a lot of people do networking on social media and LinkedIn and stuff like that?
Sure. I think the face-to-face communication is really important. It's obviously a more efficient way to connect with people, but it also allows us to sort of galvanize the support of the film and television community here in San Francisco and create more of a community around film and television than there has been in the past. I think what happens with a lot of us who work in film and television here is we actually commute back and forth to LA and don't acknowledge that we're all already here.
What would you say is the atmosphere here in Silicon Valley, and how does that relate to independent filmmaking?
One of my goals really, as the new chair of the Producers Guild here in the Northwest chapter, is to really build a bridge between Hollywood and Silicon Valley. And there's often been a sort of, I wouldn't say adversarial, but oppositional relationship between the two. And so I think we're entering an era where we're going to see a lot more cooperation. And I'm here to try to foster that cooperation and to really create connections between the Bay Area and Hollywood in terms of creative production.
I first met you at the Producer Foundry group where you gave a presentation on the Producers Guild of America. Yes. What would be the benefit of joining for new and burgeoning independent producers? You mentioned a new media council. I'm really interested in learning about that.
One of the efforts to keep up with what's going on out in the marketplace was the creation of the New Media Council, which expands membership to not only producers of traditional film and television, but also to producers of internet media. A lot of storytelling has moved onto the internet. The great thing about this new development with the Producers Guild is that all of a sudden YouTube creators actually are eligible to join the same club as Oscar-winning film directors like David Fincher and Gail Ann Hurd, and actually be in the same room, meet them, and really sort of be part of that network, which I think is really exciting because there's a recognition that storytelling is storytelling, whether it happens in a $100 million blockbuster film or on your phone.
John, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks again to John for speaking with me about the shared practices and mutual goals of the Silicon Valley and the Bay Area film community. In our discussion, John and I also talked about the New Media Council and how internet producers are now eligible to join. This got me thinking about web content creation and the platform that started it all, YouTube. YouTube has grown and evolved since its inception in 2005. Only 1 year after releasing its beta test version, YouTube's potential encouraged the colossal internet company Google to purchase the new platform for $1.6 billion. YouTube has become the world's dominant digital video distribution platform, and its existence is a major part of the culture and the way we use the internet. As it has developed, YouTube is now more than just a place to share home videos. While cat videos and goofy viral hits like David After Dennis still permeate the tubes, original content has also flourished, and the concept of producing premium content for the web has become an increasingly ubiquitous reality. In fact, many people now make their livelihood by making videos for YouTube as YouTube partners. Whether it's hosting your videos as a portfolio on your channel, building a fan following by creating regular content for your subscribers, or using the platform to distribute your original content as a digital media studio, YouTube has become an indispensable tool to the independent filmmaker. This episode isn't a how-to guide on how to be a successful YouTuber. Instead, I'd like to explore how YouTube distribution has changed the landscape of independently produced media consumption. With access to a worldwide community and powerful analytic tools provided by Google, YouTube is a place where independent producers can begin to grow a loyal fan base. With more accurate data on viewership than traditional rating systems like Nielsen, YouTube and Google offer companies and creators alike the opportunity to engage with consumers on a more personal level. Frédéric Fillot from The Guardian details some of the ways which Google and other softwares are making big data available to small players. Additionally, premium content created exclusively for the internet is transforming platforms like YouTube from a space for releasing passion projects for exposure to a viable digital distribution network. Monetization of online content has become a business in and of itself, and major companies are making their own exclusive content for the web. Warner Brothers launched their digital distribution studio with a web series on YouTube called H+ in 2012, which set the standard for high-quality web content with its television-level production and budget. In fact, producer for the show Jason Taylor told the LA Times back when it came out, "We wanted to do it in a way that meant web was not to be messed with." Until about 2012, the word web series had an amateur connotation. H+ called itself a digital series, and even today the web series genre is still underestimated. However, with more studios developing digital production departments, those who can prove themselves in the digital marketplace may be scooped up by these new divisions. This has happened most recently with Lionsgate's acquisition of Rocket Jump, the independent internet studio created by famous YouTubers Freddie Wong and Brandon Latch, and Legendary Pictures bringing Chris Hardwick's Nerdist YouTube channel and Felicia Day's Geek and Sundry network under their banner, which made headlines in Variety magazine. What do you think of the power of YouTube? Can smaller but more focused platforms like Vimeo contend with the reach and cultural significance of the Google-YouTube empire? How do you use YouTube to promote your own productions? Let me know in the comments. Google has an amazing array of tools and resources available to those looking to develop their YouTube channels and produce successful content. Their toolkits and how-to guides are more thorough than any other sites, and they often use their own YouTube partners as sources for advice. So check out the Creator Studio when you sign into YouTube and explore all of the amazing back-end support they have to offer. You can also view Google's free PDF version of the YouTube Advertiser Playbook, a great step-by-step guide for utilizing YouTube to grow your business. Finally, for those of you interested in the history of the platform, Please Subscribe is a documentary about the culture of YouTube and the impact it has had on society and its content creators. In addition to the YouTube comments section, Indie Iron now has a Facebook page where I post regular filmmaking and business content, as well as links to articles and resources I think would be useful to you film folk. Thanks again for tuning into Indie Iron. I'll see you next month.
Dub-da-dub-dub.
Dub-da-dub-dub?
Dub-da-dub-dub-dub.
And produce successful content. It was getting in my mouth.